The most powerful exorcist in the known universe believed that complete control would bring him happiness, so he summoned fearsome demon monsters as his servants. His mastery over great power intimidated even his allies. One night, he was ambushed by the imperial court, and his students were taken captive. To avoid a death at the hands of his most prized pupil, he decides to give another life a shot, reincarnating into another world full of mages and demons. In the home of the Lamprogue mage clan, a family of great importance in this realm, the Exorcist is reborn as the third son named Saikyou. Unfortunately, Saikyou has no magical power whatsoever. He's bullied for this by his older brother Glai and dismissed by Luft. But it doesn't faze him. He knows that he has enormous spiritual power within him. Now a young boy, Saikyou walks outside and makes leaf shikigami to retrieve information about the new world. His shikigami crows defend him from Glai's abuse, and this catches Luft's attention when he sees the crows are only attacking Glai. Saikyou, born from a mistress, faces a lack of respect from the rest of the Lamprogue clan. With the aid of his shikigami, he discovers this is a vast and technologically advanced civilization, peaceful and prosperous. A young housemaid, Yifa, has taken a liking to Saikyou and helps him retrieve his clothes that Glai often hides to bully him. Despite Glai's continued harassment and claims that Saikyou will never be able to attend the Academy of Magic, Saikyou finds a way to participate in a session of magic practice led by their father. The two brothers fire at targets with their father as coach, teasing Saikyou for his inability to perform magic. Glai challenges Saikyou to cast a spell at the target, but Saikyou, who made a vow not to seek power, must find a way to stay true to his convictions, but also not be perceived as weak. He surprises everyone by producing a strong blue flame, which actually isn't magic, but science. Despite this display, his father denies his request to learn magic, believing it would be a waste on him, and urges him to focus on his studies. Glai starts to become jealous, and Saikyou starts to study magic in secret. His father notices, but does not intervene. Saikyou is now 11 years old. In his previous life, he had sealed countless demons and was able to use them in battle. He attempts to summon one of his sealed demons, choosing one that's non-threatening. Yuki emerges from a thick mist. Although she was older and more beautiful in his last life, now she's a young, joyful girl. She takes on the form of a small fox to remain inconspicuous when around others. In the house, Glai chastises Yifa for spilling water on him. He projects his inadequacy onto others and tells Yifa to come to his room at night so that he can show her what it means to be a slave. Saikyou comes to her defense, and the two go out for a stroll. Out in the backyard, Saikyou discovers that Yifa has a spiritual gift, allowing her to see things that others don't. She can interact with elementals, which is how she was able to find his missing things. But she also notices the elementals seem to be avoiding him. She can even direct them to do things, though she's not very good at it. Saikyou offers to teach her how to harness her power. He values her because she possesses abilities that he does not. Seasons pass, and Yifa develops her skills, learning to conjure up great fire spells. Saikyou is now 12. His birthdays pass without ceremony, or even the presence of his father. Glai and Luft offer to teach Saikyou combat because he doesn't have any magical abilities. But this is interrupted when a monster attacks the clan house. It's an elder newt, a frightening foe in this world. Glai cowers in fear, hiding under a table. Yifa uses her newfound powers to defend herself from the elder newt. Saikyou uses a spell to finish it off, using poison Oni flame. The clan applauds him for his valor. It's now clear to the clan that Saikyou is a valuable asset and deserves respect. Saikyou realizes that he must be more cunning in this new life. Saikyou's father continues to be surprised by his talents and is somewhat fearful of his untapped potential. A feast is prepared to celebrate. The father is now impressed and commends Saikyou on the victory. Saikyou asks to enroll in the Ladonia Magic Academy to contribute to the empire. His father agrees to it, surprising everyone. He asks for one more thing, to bring Yifa, who then proves to the family that she has the power to accompany him. Glai is furious. and shouts that by tradition only one of their family may attend the academy. Their father agrees, telling Glai that he will now have to join the military. In one last attempt to turn his fate, Glai challenges Saikyou to a duel, the winner of which will go to the academy. It'll be held the following day, their father as judge. In Saikyou's room, Yuki appears to offer comfort, but Luft arrives. He apologizes for not knowing how to get along with him over the years and offers him a birthday gift. They let bygones be bygones, and Luft begins to support Saikyou's journey. Glai blasts Saikyou's window open to duel earlier than planned, hoping to catch Saikyou off guard. He attacks Saikyou with a barrage of spells, but he's unharmed. Saikyou protects himself from the onslaught without moving a muscle. He counters with a paralysis incantation. Glai can't help but fall to his knees in pain and accepts his unfortunate circumstances. The battle ends. As an aside to himself, Saikyou reveals that he summoned another monster from the spirit plane 6 months earlier to find and lure an elder newt to the clan house. It was all planned from the start. Yuki wonders why Saikyou chose a world full of weak people, and he reminds her that he chose this world to become a weak person. In a horse-drawn carriage, Saikyou, Yuki, and Yifa embark on their journey to the academy. Saikyou gives Yifa a necklace with a shamrock pendant with magical stones, and they continue on to the magic city of Ladonia. Saikyou's father thinks back to when Saikyou appeared on his doorstep. He's his younger brother Gilbert's child. His brother had gone missing long ago in the demon realms. His father, who's now known to be his uncle/guardian, begins to question how it is Saikyou has these abilities. He feels bad for sending Glai to the army, but thinks it's safer for the world to do so. He sent Saikyou to the academy because he thinks that environment will make him into a hero instead of a villain with amazing power. Saikyou and Yifa arrive at the academy, where many are clamoring to befriend him. The Lamproke family has quite a reputation in the city. A teacher is at a table where prospective students can register for the entrance exams. She also has an orb that measures the magical strength of those who are registering. It's explained that the world of magic is governed by 4 elements: fire, water, wind, and earth. There's also light and dark magic. Yifa discovers from the orb that she has fire and wind aptitude. However, her powers are said to be rather weak. Everyone is shocked to see that Saikyou exhibits no magical aptitude, and they quickly turn on him. Onmyouji, a commoner like Yifa, emerges from the crowd and impresses everyone with her immense power. She tells Saikyou that his family's privilege is the only reason why he's there, and he doesn't deserve to be at the academy. As she walks away, Saikyou notices that she resembles a pupil of his from his past life. Saikyou and Yifa take the written exam together, and Yifa is worried she didn't pass. Saikyou tells her that she'll be just fine. They've been studying quite a bit. Saikyou wants to challenge Onmyouji, but he's not sure when it would be best to initiate such a thing. He also doesn't want to draw too much attention to himself. The practical test begins, and the talent is unimpressive at the start. They are assigned targets with various types of magical resistance to test spell strength in the field. Yifa excels in the test, surprising all spectators, even Saikyou, revealing she can control not only fire spirits, but also wind. Saikyou is proud, and he expresses his admiration for her gifts. Saikyou goes next, and also surprises everybody when he conjures up blue flames. Everyone had assumed he would buy his way in. He destroys the first target with little effort, and the second and third in half the time. Onmyouji does as well as everyone predicted, and she surpasses everyone's performances. The faculty begin to ask questions. They contemplate how it's possible for 2 first years to produce so much power. Saikyou joins Yifa the next day to see their test results, and Yifa scored higher than Saikyou. He's astonished, but admires her skills. On their way to the entrance ceremony, Yifa and Saikyou spot dark elementals hovering over a mark in the earth. Running late, they move on to the dinner, and Saikyou leaves a charm behind to survey the area. The celebration is in full swing, and all the students seem to be getting comfortable. Suddenly, 3 horned demons enter the hall and attack the students. Saikyou is determined to save the other new students, but he also fears attracting too much attention. He decides to delegate and leaves the 3 demons to Onmyouji. He uses his powers to locate the caster of the dark spell, who dispatched the 3 demons. The new foe appears to be a demonic beast. The 2 volley powerful spells at one another, and the caster is caught off guard. They're both surprised to see that they can each use teleportation magic. As they fight, the demon underestimates Saikyou, believing him to be young and foolish. The caster reveals that he's searching for Onmyouji, also that he's doing this for the demon lord. He laughs at Saikyou, assuming that he'll run out of charms and be overwhelmed by the cascade of swords he continues to summon. Saikyou reveals that he's been creating charms for years and brings them forth to exhibit his limitless potential. At this point, the caster realizes that he's at a disadvantage and thrusts his arm through Saikyou's chest, only to trap himself once again. Saikyou finally summons Mizuchi to devour the enemy, but he almost loses control of the Ayakashi because he's so weak in this life. His body is not as mature as it once was, and he can't handle channeling the same amount of energy. Meanwhile, Onmyouji manages to save the students in the dining hall. Saikyou dedicates his new life to making Onmyouji the new strongest, even if he has to eliminate the demon lord himself. Saikyou's school life has begun, and after a month, everyone had gotten over the demon situation at the entrance ceremony. However, Saikyou remains suspicious of the demons targeting the hero, Onmyouji, so he insists on making friends with her. But her stern and firm attitude isn't making it easy. On the way to Miss Karen's class, Saikyou notices a shadow move over him and sees a cauldron levitating and then spilling out. Fortunately, he's able to teleport himself and Yifa in time before its contents crash onto the ground, a green, foul-smelling substance. Mr. Cordell apologizes for losing control of the cauldron and explains that it was due to his lack of proficiency in dark magic compared to light magic. Saikyou finds this understandable, but remains curious about the substance, which Mr. Cordell claims is a catalyst for his experiments. Saikyou collects a sample for further testing. Towards the end of Ms. Karen's class, she discusses the upcoming academy anniversary and the need for the 2 top students, Onmyouji and Yifa, to help with the preparations. They are to deliver the new student roster as an offering at the temple in Ladonia Forest. Saikyou, remembering that Galea was based in the forest, asks Yifa to decline the offer and volunteers to go in her place. After class, Saikyou asks Yifa if she actually wanted to go with Onmyouji. Yifa says that she didn't and thought that Saikyou asked her to reject it for a reason, but is jealous of Saikyou's observable intent to spend more time with Onmyouji. Saikyou assures her of his innocent intentions, explaining that he knows something of the future for someone as powerful as Onmyouji and simply wants her as a friend. On the day of the ceremony, they make their way to the shrine. Onmyouji suddenly experiences a headache, and Saikyou notices a magic circle similar to the one he saw before. The next thing they know, they're transported to a dark dungeon infested with monsters. They fight off monsters successfully until Onmyouji is distracted by her headache and takes a huge hit that knocks her out. While Onmyouji is passed out, Saikyou summons his giant centipede to protect them both and keep the monsters at bay. After Onmyouji wakes, Saikyou asks about her headaches. He deduces that it's a curse and forms a barrier around them to protect her from it. They search for signs of curses on Onmyouji's body, and when none are found, Saikyou concludes it could be too small for them to see, and even written in the color of her skin. He decides to transfer the curse to a paper talisman to protect her, even after they leave the barrier. They fight their way to the dungeon's master, the Naga, and defeat it with ease, working together. The reward for clearing the dungeon is a mithril sword which Onmyouji takes for herself, and a powerful ring, which Saikyou thinks would suit Yifa well. Saikyou suspects their teacher, Mr. Cordell, is a spy and conspirator for the demons in the targeting of the Academy's hero, Onmyouji. He confronts Mr. Cordell and discovers him using curses and other magic. Saikyou uses his mastery of curses to summon a demon and first transfers the curse to himself before reversing it and killing Mr. Cordell. After the dungeon experience, Onmyouji opens up more and they start slowly building trust and becoming closer. The trio are entering their second year at the academy and have formed a close bond. Saikyou's increased security measures have detected no new demon activity, which is a bit of a letdown for him. However, This peacefulness is disrupted when the principal summons them for a meeting in her office. The next day, the trio discovers that the principal is a demi-human and has noticed Seika's exceptional abilities. She requests that he participate in a mixed-discipline combat tournament in the capital, along with a first-year student named Mabel. Onmyou is shocked to learn she wasn't invited to the tournament, as was Seika, but the principal explained she was following her gut instincts. Despite her initial disappointment, Onmyou realizes she's not that interested in competing, but she still struggled with the fact that she wasn't given the opportunity. The winner of the tournament will be awarded a substantial sum of money and the chance to join the prestigious Royal Guard. Onmyou thinks that Mabel is just a noble who seeks only to add her participation in the tournament to her resume and expects her to drop out early. Mabel, however, overhears and takes offense to this and calls Onmyou spoiled rotten and weak. Onmyou responds by challenging Mabel to a duel and takes practice swords from 2 nearby students. From Mabel's stance, Seika sees that she's a skilled fighter, and he welcomes this opportunity to evaluate her strength. The duel begins, and Mabel easily blocks Onmyou's attacks with an imbued sword and wins with a swift counter-strike. Onmyou accuses Mabel of using dark magic, but Mabel just belittles the school's hero and walks away. Seika travels with Mabel, Onmyou, and Yifa to the capital by carriage. Onmyou tagged along to see Mabel fight, and Yifa remains committed to her role as Seika's servant. Yifa and Onmyou enjoy the journey, while Mabel finds their carefree attitude annoying. That includes Seika, but he chooses to remain silent and not correct her. In the capital, Seika examines the matchups and realizes that if he and Mabel win their bouts, they will meet in the semifinals. He had been hoping for a more thoughtfully arranged bracket than to find 2 competitors from the same school scheduled to face off. Seika sends Onmyou and Yifa to tour the capital, while he seeks to uncover the true reason for his selection as the Academy's representative over Onmyou, who has a higher ranking. The day of the tournament arrives, and the competitors are each given an amulet to help protect them in battle. If a competitor's amulet is destroyed, the fight is lost. Seika, the first contestant, faces off against a mad dog mercenary swordsman who grossly underestimates Seika, thinking the first round will be easy. As the round begins, the mercenary charges forward, striking at Seika. But to his surprise, Seika is quick to act, appears behind him, and sends him flying out of the ring, instantly winning the round. The audience is left stunned. After the fight, Yuki wonders about the number of victories he seeks. It's fine to have some fun, but he should try not to be too prominent. He'll decide later when to end his participation. In the next match, a renowned water mage faces Kyle, a mysterious mercenary guard of unknown magic or swordsmanship abilities. As the match begins, Kyle's intense gaze causes the water mage to freeze in fear, a reaction that strikes Seika as strange. Kyle calmly, even casually, approaches the mage and easily incapacitates him, causing excitement among the spectators, being the first death in the tournament. Through his talismans, Seika realizes that Kyle is a seasoned killer, and his supposed background as a guard is false. He is a bearer of the evil eye. Thank you for sticking until the end. Subscribe for more videos like this.